Hello everyone, it's Scotrail 96 here, and welcome to another Train Sim World 4 roadmap video. Today I've just got back from my little weekend away, and I thought I'd take a look at the February roadmap, the very first roadmap of 2024. So as always, let's get straight into the details. We'll kick off with the overview, the short but sweet overview of the roadmap. We'll start with the 0 to 3 month section. Obviously, the Winter Core Update Part 2 was released last week, as we're in a new week today. Weirdly, the suspension improvements did not come in either Part 1 or Part 2 of the Winter Core Update, which was a little bit of a surprise for me. I thought it would. Obviously, it isn't for some reason. Also was released was quality of life improvements, some fixes to the core routes and add-ons, and the Formation Designer, a beta version that is available on Steam and Epic Games. As far as partner releases, the Cargo Line Volume 2 has been revealed, which has been made by Skyhook Games. Not a fan of it in any way, shape or form. This time it turns its attention from ethanol or oil to aggregates. This wagon is the HOA aggregate wagon. It adds new scenarios and services yet again to the Midland Main Line and the Great Western Express add-ons. Honestly, I do like these freight, these new bits of freight rolling stock, the new hoppers and the new look tankers that they released late last year. I just hate the fact it's behind a paywall. I mean, I think the last one was nearly £10. If this is going to be released at the same price, I mean, 20 quid for two pieces of freight rolling stock used yet again by a Class 66. Honestly, that is an absolute joke. And I'm not finished as far as ranting at Skyhook Games' business practices is concerned. We'll touch on that later. And as far as the BR Class 104 and Peak Forest Freight Expansion Pack, which is being made by Simtrax Studios, they have released a couple of screenshots of it in development. It looks pretty interesting. I mean, it's just literally the the shell of the multiple unit that's been constructed. Obviously, the paint, the interior that is yet to be fully completed. So well, hopefully it's good. That's all I can say. As far as the two new freight wagons are concerned, they are the 21-ton hopper and the Cove Hop wagon, and hopefully we'll be able to see more progress on this unique looking pack. Hopefully Simtrax Studios, hopefully they do a solid job. Let's move on to the next section in this little overview, and that is the 4 to 6 month section. A UK locomotive that's been made by Dovetail Games has moved into this section, and a new locomotive add-on, this time being made by Simtrax Studios, has been moved into this section. They're focusing on a new German locomotive. Hopefully it'll be good. And finally, the 9+ month section, or it's been completely replaced by a release date to be confirmed section. We have obviously the DBBR 420 made by Train Sim Germany for, at the time, was München Augsburg. God knows what it is now. The route made by Alan Thompson Simulation, the Curl Aachen timetable update, suspension improvements, and this US route, which originally was in the 0 to 3 month section but has been moved all the way back. And the reason is even though it's well into development, Dovetail is still working with the licensor on approval, which is a bit of a surprise. Hopefully they get whatever it is they're making fully licensed as far as, the traction, rolling stock, etc. So yeah, hopefully, whatever it is, it's going to be good. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Let's take a look now at some of the new routes and other bits and pieces that were revealed in this roadmap. We'll start with an obvious one, and that is the Goblin line from the London Overground. That's Gospel Oak to Barking Riverside. It says here, and I quote from Dovetail, "Discover the dense North and East London boroughs aboard modern traction, traversing a new electrified and extended line fit for future Riverside service. Get stuck in driving the 4 trains per hour service on the Gospel Oak to Barking line, weave through the London boroughs serving the dozen original stations, as well as across the 2.8 mile extension to Barking Riverside, which opened in 2022, with timetable layers and free room Free roam, explore the route with heavy freight trains. That's a 66, obviously. Steam specials and more. And you can see the route map there and a background of the Class 710-2 in Train Sim World form. The next one is a German route with a little bit of Austria as well, and that is Bahnstrecke Salzburg to Rosenheim. This was teased all the way back in Train Sim World 4's announcement. This latest German route with an Austria border crossing, you will be able to discover, hopefully, a very scenic, and lengthy hilly countryside as we operate across 89 kilometers of track, operating the brand new DBBR 111 electric locomotive, which utilizes a tap changer control system with both manual and semi-automatic input. You can see the route map there for you. It's just another German route, isn't it? Hopefully the 1110 will be a nice challenge, and hopefully the sounds and physics will be recaptured in a fairly accurate state. Well, again, we'll have to wait and see. There are also many layers to this route's timetable, including the DBBR 628. This next route is a United States route, and it is fully licensed, don't worry, so at least we know what it's going to be. Quite a surprise, this is the San Bernardino line. Yes, it is another route, the fourth Train Sim World route set in California. This time, they are bringing the second Metrolink route, which they developed which they are now going to release, of course, after the Antelope Valley line was released as part of the Train Sim World 4 base package. The San Bernardino line is a 57-mile route from Los Angeles Union Station to San Bernardino. So obviously, it connects all the dots, so to speak. So in theory, you could do a journey from the terminus of the Antelope Valley line. I can't remember what the final destination is called, to Los Angeles. Then you could do a service going from Los Angeles to San Bernardino, and then you could do a freight train from San Bernardino to Barstow. So that is quite cool that it connects those two routes together, albeit, you have to go back to the main menu and pick the route and whatever service. Sadly, they won't all be integrated into one big route. That would be quite cool if it was to happen, but it isn't. So starting from Los Angeles Union Station, but of course instead going, is it north or west? Can't remember. But this time we will go east and connect to San Bernardino, the downtown San Bernardino, experiencing a more intense service pattern, apparently, in a densely packed urban environment with a familiar friend, a locomotive that I actually do quite like. This time the MP36PH has returned for the first time since 2020, which was in Peninsula Corridor, this time in Metrolink livery. And I expect the coaches and the cab car are going to be exactly the same as the ones featured in Antelope Valley line. I do like the fact, that even though this route connects the dots to Cajon Pass and the Antelope Valley line, I am very disappointed still that it's yet another route in California. There are way more routes to be discovered in the United States, Dovetail, to be brought to life in Train Sim World. Please stop doing some California routes for a change. Why don't you do Chicago, Florida, like I said, or maybe, I don't know, another route set in the Northeast or something like that, like another metro line, something like that. Anything other than a route in California I'd welcome, please. The next one is a new route but in Austria, and it's been made by Dovetail Games, and I'm actually quite looking forward to this one. It's the Semmeringbahn in Austria. It says here, and I quote, brace yourselves for steep, challenging gradients, spectacular views, and a mix of tunnels and viaducts. Displayed on this route map here, we will apparently enjoy a mix of experiences as we will switch between ascending, winding mountainous terrain to entering a flatter and faster racetrack style of operation, as we will pass through 17 stations across the Semmeringbahn, which is 68 kilometers and has 17 stations, like I said. The train simulator version is shorter and has less stations, so I'm very pleased that Dovetail have extended the route, which allows for, more stations, different types of operations, freight, passenger. Obviously, you can see in this picture here that the Talent 1, which was part of the S-Bahn Vorarlberg, will be, I presume, have its own layer of timetabled services, so you could do some very fast runs up and down the line, freight operations, and some stopping services as well. So there's a little bit of variation in the timetable package. Obviously, as far as the locomotive is concerned, it's a very familiar face. This time in the Österreich Bundesbahn livery. The class, was it 11116 electric locomotive, or also known as the Urus, was it the ESU, the Taurus, I think it's known as, yeah, the Taurus. Obviously, it's similar or identical to the DBR 182 that we've had in the game for quite a long time now, so a bit disappointed. There are certainly some other OBB stock that could be used on the Semmeringbahn. Hopefully we might get that as a separate loco add-on, hopefully in the not too distant future. Let's turn our attention to, my little rant of Skyhook Games. Now, what's interesting is that they have revealed a Scotrail BR Class 158 DMU. Now, the thing that frustrates me is when I looked at this picture first, it was a route reveal, which is by Rivet Games, and that is the 5-circle route, which I've really wanted to see in Train Sim World. Now, this route will include, obviously, the stunning 4th Rail Bridge, one of the most iconic bridges in the world. And the route will be going from Edinburgh Waverley to Markinch via Dunfermline and Kirkcaldy. The traction we will get is the BR Class 170 diesel multiple unit in Scotrail livery, which I know a fair few people have wanted to see in the game. So finally it's on the way, which is great. And you would think that the Class 158 made by Skyhook will be part of this package. It seems it will be, but you have to pay extra for it. That is a complete joke. Making this a separate add-on, the Class 158, it's just the same 158. It's a good multiple unit. Skyhook have made for 158, no question about it. But the fact that they make you pay extra on top of that, for the route, and I don't know what's going on, man. I don't know. I swear Skyhook is trying to find new ways to frustrate the community. It's ridiculous. It's just nothing short of ridiculous. Anyway, let's take a look at the last and certainly not least route, and probably the most exciting piece of news that was revealed in the roadmap, and that is the route made by Union Workshop. For the first time, long bloody overdue, mind, Train Sim World is going to be debuting a route in Japan, and that is a quite nice little scene. Well, not little, that's for sure. It's a big route. I can tell you. The Tadami line, which goes from Eizu Wakamatsu to Tadami, it's 54 miles. It's over 25 stations, so you're not going to be short of passenger work to do. It's set in 2 prefectures in Japan, and that is, if I can get my pronunciations right on this one, Fukushima and Niigata. And as far as the traction, which even though it hasn't been revealed, these bits of traction are operated by the Japan Railway East Company, and that is the Kira 1110 series or the Kiha E120 diesel multiple units. I'd prefer the newer one, the E120. Simply because I just like the look of it, really. But the fact that finally we're getting a Japanese Train Sim World route, hooray, at last. I'm so keen and so excited to get that. Obviously, it's miles away from being released, as you can tell, and you can see these screenshots. The route is very early in development, but it's looking great, even though it's early in development, I must say. And obviously, with Union Workshop having the East Japan Railway Company license, the door creeps open for potentially a Shinkansen route in Train Sim World. And oh my god, if we could get that in the game, that would be, wow, unbelievable. Really would be. And finally, just to finish things off, Dovetail have announced some new third-party developers that have come on board to Train Sim World, and they are SimTrack, Luminaries, Rail Traction, Train Motion, Ticket to the North, Haleycon Media, and RSSLO. And yeah, that pretty much sums it up. If you'd enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like, and of course feel free to subscribe to the channel for more Train Sim World roadmap updates from me, as well as other Train Sim World content. And as always, I will see you next time. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.